Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Getting on My Nerves with me, Sophie, and my co-host Angie. And today we're diving into the holiday season.
Hey, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy New Year's. It's all the holidays rolled into one today. So we have some survival tips for the holidays that Sophie and I have found very helpful over the years with not being too bogged down with all the responsibilities and how to space everything out. Of course, by the time this airs, it's going to be the week before Thanksgiving, but we're hoping that we can help you this year and possibly for the years coming.
Yeah, definitely, because I think once you get into a routine with the holiday setup, you can sort of know what's worked for you. That's really great. Like for me, the buying starts now. September, start buying, prep all of my presents and everything by November, and my budget's intact and everything. And then it's just deciding on like families to celebrate with.
For me, really, it's just my mom and I for the holidays. And it's been kind of different the last few years since my dad passed away, but we still celebrate the season. We're not as celebratory as we used to be, appreciating the season for what it is, but used to when I had my kids and I would do all the baking, the holiday baking. I had to do all the shopping and the gift wrapping and be Santa and all of that. I started in September as well. And I would start my shopping. I would wrap as I went. And I would start with my pie crust. I would start freezing. I had a sealer. So I would make my crust and the fillings and I'd seal them, put them in the freezer. Because for me, I used to live in Indiana. So when the fall came, it would always be like, the temperatures would send me spiraling when we were warm and then we went cold. And you go back and forth a lot in the fall, just like you do in the spring and with the temperatures. And so I knew that I prepared and I'd get all that stuff done as much as I could. Now, some things you can't freeze or you can't make too far ahead, like if you're doing baking and stuff to give away. But I would do as much as I could to prepare so that there was one year where I had everything done by Thanksgiving, and it was wonderful because I actually got to enjoy the holidays that year. So,
Yeah, and I think as well, like obviously it's a lot like with the food, with the socializing. So I always like even now, like I'm starting to book friends in for December, like just dates in December to like present swap, see them, just to make sure that I don't overbook myself. I'm not like doing too many things in one week because it gets really tiring very fast. And over here in like the UK, like the dark nights, dark mornings, it really gets you down. So it's sometimes a struggle to like go out in the cold as well, because that always sends my symptoms going through the roof, is like when you can't move because like your joints are just so stiff and painful because it's so cold. So I always try and think ahead. I always try and get my diary out again. September, once I start buying, and even like into November, like trying to see them because I know December is going to be filled with like family. And last year I went overboard, and I'm not doing it this year. I learned my lesson because I thought that I could go to two places and split myself basically in half on Christmas Day and do James's mum with James on the actual like Sunday lunch, the Christmas lunch, and then go to my mum's for a Christmas buffet in the evening and see my family. And it was too much. Like I felt sick, I was headachy. But even before I got to my mum's, and I wasn't at my mum's for very long because I couldn't hack it. So I'm like, this year, no, like I tried to do it all. I tried to push myself a little bit and I learnt my lesson. And I think that's sometimes where I'm like, right, I need to stick to my routine that I know that works for me. But I think sometimes when you, like we were saying about before, like with medications and stuff, when you feel a bit better in yourself, you're like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do like two people's houses in one day and I can eat this much. And you just can't. Like, I don't have the gut for it anymore.
well, I think you've made some good points there because we put so much pressure on ourselves. We allow others to put pressure on us. They want us to come to their homes. And before you may have more than two places that you have to go to. And then you've got Christmas Eve as well. And I know like you can try and space it out as much as you can. But I think it's important. I come to this realization when I was going through my divorce, because it's really hard when you have divorce and you have children and you're trying to accommodate everyone's schedules. So I think it's important to say that even though we have these calendar days that we celebrate these holidays on, it's good to point out that any day can be Christmas, any day can be Thanksgiving, any day can be New Year's. I mean, there's different, beliefs that celebrate these things at different times of the year. So you could have your Christmas 2 weeks earlier. You could have it after Christmas. It's something still to look forward to after the holidays. So I like thinking like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like, because me and James have everyone here on Boxing Day as well. So it's almost like a 3-day event, but it's within those 3 days, like it's not spaced out. It's not like something that you can have over the whole month and you have 3 days just spaced out over those 4 weeks. Like they're literally back to back, and it's too much. And I think if you have the flexibility where your family also are flexible in work schedules, it's probably better even if you did it over a week and just like broke it down into different days. I know that now like people are having Christmas Day on Boxing Day and like having Christmas Day is like a break because it's just too much.
What is Boxing Day? I remember seeing it on calendars for years, but I don't know. All I can think of is that y'all put on gloves and start boxing.
No, it's actually, it's basically because obviously you open the gifts on Christmas Day. So Boxing Day is supposed to be you boxing it all up.
Oh, okay.
Put the toys away.
Okay.
But on Boxing Day in the UK, it's a big football day, like a big football day. Okay. And James is big into football. Well, so is most of my family. So we have to have it here so that they can have 6 TVs on with all the different games on, because all the teams are play on Boxing Day. And my family, they all support different teams. So you can just imagine like they just start sort of giving themselves like jip and like wit and joking about the other teams and whatever. So it gets a bit rowdy in here.
That sounds so fun though. So it's similar here in the United States. And I'm not going to act like I know everything about football and stuff because I don't. Because when my son played, I would cheer at the wrong time, or he'd be like, "Mom, just look around at the crowd. And if they're cheering, you cheer." And I'm like, "Oh, I got it." Because I'd be like, "Good job, honey. You just got sacked," or something, I know Thanksgiving, there's games on. We have like the same Thanksgiving Day parade, that everybody likes to watch. And then there's games on. There's those different bowls. People are probably going to laugh at this because I'm not like saying it correctly. And then, we have, so that's Thanksgiving. And then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, there's always games on. And then you have New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And I think New Year's Day is some bowl again. And, and then we go on and we lead up to the Super Bowl. So I used to be really into football when, in Indiana with the Colts, and Peyton Manning. Yeah. That I was like, I've always been into it. I liked the Miami Dolphins for a few years and Dallas Cowboys, and different stuff. But I haven't followed along for a long time now. So.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where if you don't like watch one game, you get out of sync with it. And like we don't really celebrate like Thanksgiving over here. I did start doing it with friends when I first went to America. I did it for I think 4 years on the trot, where I did like American food, but I did it at home. So I like cooked it myself and then had friends around and we like celebrated that way. But I wish we did do something like that because it's nice, and also it kind of takes the pressure a little bit off Christmas. If like you've gone to see your family at Thanksgiving like the month before, you can say, well, I spent that day with you and we've swapped Christmas presents now. So it's like I don't have to go right up to actual Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think that they say Thanksgiving is the most traveled holiday, and you'd think it would be Christmas, but I think people do exactly what you're saying. They choose Thanksgiving to spend with their families, like their extended families, and then their home families, their core family, they choose for Christmas so they can stay at home and enjoy all of that. So I think that's a great idea. You could have Friendsgiving.
I know. I might do that this year. Although James might be bold.
James might be what?
You might be bald. I'd be like, you need to put a hat on and then you'll be fine. That's his Christmas present to himself. His hair transplant.
So he's gonna hurt you. Like he's gonna be like, Sophie, why would you say that on your podcast?
He's quite open with it because like it's a big insecurity of his, and obviously like he's done his research into it. Like he definitely wants it. He wants it before we get married. So the fact that it's winter, he can wear a hat, he can cover it up till it grows back. That's why it's all had to time around his wedding and wedding hair and stuff.
Yeah. Well, he wants to look good for his wedding day, just like you want to look good for your wedding day. So I think if you do something, you've researched it and it's good, then go ahead and do it. It makes you feel better, you know?
Yeah. Like he said, he was like, I'd never have surgery. Like neither of us promote like plastic surgery, but I think, you know, men seem to go bald so early these days. Like his best man, for instance, he's been bald since he was 21. And it's like, it's crazy. Like they just don't have the hormones to like keep it, apparently. I
guarantee you, if women went through that, and some women do, some women, and you and I, we've lost our hair, but I've never went completely bald, but a lot of people do. I'm sure
I couldn't do it. I'd have to get a wig. I'd be on wigs.
So Sophie, like, tell us a couple of your favorite holiday memories, good or bad.
Gosh.
Maybe balance it out.
I'm not, I won't lie, like I'm not a big Christmas person. I'm more of a birthday person than a Christmas person. I think I get so mad with how commercial Christmas has become that I think that like kids now, they're like, oh, I want this. It's like, that's so expensive. Like, I want that gift. I want that. It's what they can get out of the day rather than actually spending it with family. So for me, I love my mum's like Christmas buffet. Like the food's just like picky bits, but all like my mum's family are around that table, and like my granddad and my nana, who I adore, they're always there, and that means so much to me. That's the favorite part of the day for me. Like not like getting up or whatever, but I think also like now I've kind of taken like that festive period out because we're too old for like gifts anyway. So it's just like kind of having a routine of, well, yeah, but it's not like you don't get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning thinking, oh, I've got my stocking to open, I've got this. Like last year, I think, well, I obviously gave James a present, he gave me one, and then I got one from his mum, and that was it. Like I didn't have any more. So it's just not a big thing anymore. So now that we've got the puppies, it's nice to have like a Christmas Day morning walk and like go and see the family and like have that time. But it does annoy me how commercial and how like much money is pumped into it, and how it's just become a bit of a money machine, and people don't understand the true value of it anymore. So I think that's why I'm more like, I'll get behind it. Like I'll celebrate, but I think as well, because the weather's always so awful here, like my mood goes down quite a lot with the dark nights, the dark mornings, and the cold, that I'm just not in the right headspace to be like, yeah, let's party. Like, let's get right behind this. Like last year, I didn't even want to put a Christmas tree up because I felt so down. And I was like, and I was so exhausted as well with having the puppies for like the first year and me walking them every day. I was so like worn out, and I had meningitis as well. I was like, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do Christmas. So that's kind of where my sort of bad memories. Sorry.
We can't help the puppies.
Oh, we don't need to hear you on this podcast. Thank you very much.
Maybe they had something to say. Maybe they didn't like your holiday plans this year for them.
I know. Yeah, maybe they didn't want a walkies. It's like, what? A walk? Yeah. He just turned around and went, yeah, simmer down. Otherwise, you're not having.
Yeah. I love how Sophie talks to her dogs. It's so fun.
They're my children. What can I say?
They are your children. And speaking of children, like when you say about the commercialness of the holidays and stuff, here's some of my pet peeves. I don't understand how people will only say they're in the Christmas spirit. Why can't you be in the holiday spirit all year long? Like, people are more giving and more charitable during the holidays.
Yeah.
It should be all year. And I don't mean you should be doing something every day, but like it is little somethings every day. It's not like buying things, it's random act of kindness. That is something that should be all year long, not just at the holiday times. And you're right about what is the real meaning of Christmas to you? How can you carry the holiday spirit all year long within you and not just have it be at this time of the year because the calendar says that,
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes that's why I'm a bit more of like a birthday person as well, because I'm like, it's really important to celebrate the person you are as well. Like, it's all good for like giving back and everything, but sometimes we forget to recharge ourselves, and we forget that we're actually people as well, and that we deserve to be celebrated, because we're very good at celebrating other people. And like, I get behind that. Like, I love anyone's birthday. Like, I'll go to town with it. But I think it's important to remember as well that it's about giving back to yourself as well.
I always made my mom, she always made the holidays and like our birthdays, she would always do little things, and she was very active in our lives growing up, with like volunteering at the school and being there for, the parties and all of that. And so she set the pretense for me for when I had my children, my family, and even before I had kids, I would just always have that spirit within me of what she did. She would have us, we had more than we needed growing up. Not like we were wealthy or anything. We were wealthy with love. But there was materialistically, like we had everything we needed. My dad worked very hard. But having that as your foundation, I think whatever you set up in the home with your children, with your spouse, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, how you lay that foundation for how you're going to be all year long, not just during the holidays. Yeah. Everyone has to be appreciative of what you have and what others don't. And my mom, she would always have us, like, we would sponsor a kid at Christmas. She would have us pick a star off the tree. I would pick for a girl, and my brother would pick for a boy, and we would do like the ages that we were. And she would have us help her shop. She had us wrap the presents. And I can guarantee you, every time that I would do that as a child, I would be so happy that these kids were going to get these, the stuff that we had purchased for them. And the wrapping of it, it really got you into what the meaning of Christmas is, And
I'm glad you mentioned that, because we used to do the shoebox. I don't know if you have it over there, the shoebox appeal.
Yeah. What's the shoebox?
So basically, like, you get an old shoebox and you fill it with as much as you can. So you buy whatever. So it was to go to kids in Africa. So you'd have to think about what they don't have. So my mum was like, right, she'd be like going around the supermarket. She'd be like, right, think about what they don't have and what they really, really need. So like, obviously, like, my brother was like, oh, well, they want this game. And my mum's like, they don't have a TV. But what do they really need?
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, well, what about this magazine? What if they don't read, Alex? What if they don't read? Think about what they need. So then it'd be like toothbrush, toothpaste, like, clothes, socks, underwear, like your essentials that you like as Western children you probably forget about, because you're thinking of computer games, Netflix, whatever, movies, that kind of thing, and that you don't think like they need core stuff.
I'm going to tell this story because this is always a story that I go back to, and it just shows you that you can be grateful for even the smallest thing. So when I was married, we had like a storage thing, and we would rent it to this lady that had a women's shelter. And so every Christmas she would have like a big like Santa dinner, and she'd have the kids come it was for breakfast, I'm sorry. And the kids would come and they get to have breakfast and talk to Santa. And then you could sponsor a family. And so we always sponsored a family every year. But there was this one year where we had a family, and it was a mom, and she had 3 boys, 3 teenage boys. And they left with the clothes that were on their backs. They had nothing. And so I was asking her, and she was telling me what they needed. And I said, okay, well, tell me one thing that they really, really want. And so my parents chipped in. These kids, it was the dead of winter in Indiana in December. They had no coats. Their shoes didn't fit. They they were all taking turns sleeping on a mattress. And they had a couch. That was it. So the kids had to sleep on the floor. The mom slept on the floor. So it was like, what do they really need? So my parents got them new shoes and coats. I think we got them 3 outfits a piece, and got new underwear and socks. The mom, I bought her like a fluffy bathrobe and slippers, things to make her feel good, because you don't get that, like the soaps, the smelly soaps and things like that. And then we went and my ex-husband's family, they helped out as well. They had some furniture that they gifted to them, and a bed, and just, things that would be helpful. And then we went shopping for food, and we bought everything. I mean, at the time, this was a lot. I think we spent like, I want to say like $600 when we were at Walmart. We just literally bought everything, and everything for a Christmas Day dinner. I baked pies. And Sophie, I will never forget this, when we went to where they lived in a mobile home. We went in there, and I was helping we were bringing in the groceries. They literally had, in the fridge, they had a thing of mustard, some pickles, and they had 1 can of chicken in the cupboard. That was it. So literally they would have went hungry that night, and they may have went hungry many nights before that. But we brought in all of this food, and they were it just, when you're able to help someone like that, it is amazing. And it just gives you, I always go back to that, because that is, out of all the things that's people that I've helped or sponsored, that story sticks with me, because that woman was so brave for leaving an abusive situation, especially during the holidays. I mean, the holidays can be very depressing for a lot of people. And I think people forget that too,
Yeah. Like me and James, we always bake for the homeless shelter every year. And like we do like muffins, cookies, just like easy things like we can have fun making. And we always take it up to it's about 30 minutes drive from here, Lancaster. We take it up to their homeless shelter up there. And then I think it was like 2021, they were like, we're not accepting them anymore, like because of like COVID and stuff, and they didn't know what you were putting in the foods, and like if you had germs, or like if you were going to pass anything on. So I was like, well, can I, buy it from the shop and bring it up? And they were like, oh yeah, that's fine. I was like, oh, okay. So we like just bought a load of cookies from the shop and like took them up instead. And obviously like it takes away a little bit, because I quite liked baking it at home, but if you're still giving in a way, it all adds up. And these people that are in -9 degrees C outside, like on the streets at Christmas on their own, like it's just not nice. So it's something that I couldn't ever, even like when we walk past and the dogs are there, and I'm like, I can't let my little boys be out there.
Oh, sometimes people don't have a choice though, and that's where like the kindness, the random acts of kindness come in. You think about, if you were in that situation, how would you want to be treated? And like my mom and I, we can't stand for anyone to be hungry or to go hungry. And if we know about it, you should do something. Because if you're having food in your home, you're supposed to give when you have more than enough. And a lot of people may think, well, I don't have more than enough. If you have food in your home, you can share with someone. Maybe you're going to have leftovers, and so you don't have leftovers because you share it with someone that needs the food. It's getting back to basics with holidays, surviving the holidays, not overtaxing yourself, not putting yourself out. I know there's like, we have like a couple of, well, we have more than a couple, because like at my grandma's house growing up, I mean, there would be like huge tables filled with food, and then they'd clear that off and the desserts would come in, and you only have things that you make at the holiday time. One thing, boiled custard. Do you know what that is? Oh, it's so good, Sophie.
I hate custard.
This is different. This is like, I forget, I think it's at least 100-year-old recipe. It may be more than that now. On my mom's, I think it's my mom's dad's side is where the boiled custard comes from. I think, I could be wrong, but I know that it's over 100 years. And it takes milk and eggs and half and lots of sugar. And you cook it on the stove, and you have to stir. The first hour you can stir intermittently, but the second hour you have to stir continuously, and your arm gets tired. And then you got to beat it, and you strain it and beat it, strain it and beat it. You drink it cold. And a lot of people put alcohol in it. I don't put alcohol in it. I just drink it. It's just like, it's so freaking good. But I can't drink as much as I used to because of the sugar and stuff, like it makes me sick. So I have to drink like just little bits at a time.
Yeah.
So good though. So good.
I mean, that's definitely up James's street, but definitely not mine. I don't like custard.
Oh,
Like he has like apple pie and then just drowns it with custard. And I'm like, you've just ruined it. You've just ruined it.
I should send you my apple pie recipe. James would like it. You'd like it too.
Oh, he loves apple pies.
It's definitely a cheat thing, but it's like so good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
So,
yeah, sorry, go on.
no, I was just thinking, have we covered all of the tips to give people for the holidays? We've shared some.
I think we have. I think we've done with routines. We've done with trying to.
Right there is sticking to your routine. Don't get out of your routine just because it's the holiday season, because otherwise you're going to be playing catch up for the next 6 to 9 months, maybe even a year, and you're going to be back in the same place next year.
And don't overcommit, because that was a big thing for me. It's like overcommitting. And like,
it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. You're not gonna, if you upset someone, then that's on them. It's not on you. You're respecting what you are able to do. And your mind may say that you can do more than you're able to, but your body is going to give out on you. And you've got to respect those boundaries that your body is giving you.
Absolutely.
All right. We got anything else, Soph? Are we done?
I think we're done. We're done.
So this is the end of season 1. We got the season 1 under our belts now. Woo-hoo. Yay. So we'll see everybody back in January. We're going to be premiering into January 18th, 2024, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll be back for season 2. We have more interviews planned for, I just totally spit when I said that. Did you see it?
We've kept it so classy and
classy till Angie spit.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness. Leave it to me to break it up. So we have some really great interviews that we're planning for season 2 and 3 and 4. So if anyone is interested in being on Getting on My Nerves, please reach out to me at gmail.com or reach out to
DM us on Instagram.
Yes. Reach out to us on Instagram. You can go to nerve _of_mind on Instagram and send us a message on there. You can also contact me and Sophie directly if you'd like. So we want to have people that are suffering from chronic illnesses of all kinds and that have an inspirational message or something that they've been doing in their lives that have really helped them, squash out the chronic illness. What do you want to call it? Labels or
negativity.
Right?
I'm all about getting rid of the negativity.
Right. Get rid of the negativity. So we're just really looking to connect with people, and we have a lot of people lined up. We have so we're not going to spill the beans on who it is, but we're lining stuff up. So,
and we will be posting every day, well, Monday to Friday anyway, on Instagram and Facebook. So keep in tune with all of we're posting basically, and on our stories and all of that jazz.
Yes, we'll continue posting and just be on the lookout for when season 2 is going to start. And in January, we'll be recording in January for season 2. And we've already got seasons 2, 3, and 4 dates set for next year. So we're really excited. We're really excited with this first season, and we're excited for the next seasons coming. And we hope if you have any story ideas or podcast ideas for us that you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. Contact us on the platforms that we gave you before. And we hope everyone has a fantastic holiday season and respects themselves and spreads the holiday spirit all year long.
Yeah.